Okay, the problem I was having was a slow leak of power steering fluid, and every once in a while I'd have to top it off in here. And what I noticed on my last inspection under the hood here is that on the top of this there's these basically a lock washer, and then this nut on top that goes on top of right there. And there was a little bit of, yellow goldish oil, and follow the line here, and this is the power steering. This goes right to the reservoir. So looking online, this is the power steering pump. It's got there's an O-ring here in that little groove where my fingernail is, and at the bottom, the top one was really hard. When I tried to they were also very flat, like they had been on there for 30 years, right? Which they probably had. So the top one, I tried to pry it a little bit, and it just instantly snapped into like multiple pieces. So it was really dry and rotted, I guess. The bottom one was a little bit more pliable, but also it was kind of flattened into a trapezoid shape. And so I'm not going to be too particular on what type of O-ring we're going to stick in there. We're not going to stick in the cheapest stuff, but I'm going to try to find, I don't think I have a Buna N type O-ring, but I do have some, I have nitrile, and I have the Viton. And I know I use Viton on some of the high pressure stuff on the Ford diesels, so I'm going to try the Vitons in here, see if I can get a match for something close enough to stretch over this. And then there were no crush washers, so this is probably from the factory the way it is. I think the factory manual actually shows something weird, where they have two crush washers on like the bottom side instead of like sandwiching this thing. But maybe that's for maybe that's for down on the rack or something, because I don't see how you're not gonna put a big crush washer on the bottom of this thing. But I'll clean that up, and we'll see how it goes. Let's go take a look. All right, here's the stash I got. This is a Harbor Freight kit, the Viton assortment. I've had it for a long time. I've not had to use a lot of the different sizes, as you can see. All right, and let me find something to point with. This is the upper one that cracked, and the overall diameter, it is missing a piece right here, but it is supposed to be, actually it's really stiff here, so it's not even sprung open. This is the diameter that I'm looking for. And I found these two ones that are close. Okay, nice and fresh and plump. All right, and so hopefully they can squeeze into there. I'll try the fat one first, and then see if I can get, if that doesn't work, then I'll resort to the smaller one. Same for down here. This is the bottom one, and you can kind of, maybe you can see, but there's a little bit of like a, yeah, you see the angle of how it's been crushed over time on that that O-ring. So yeah, I'll be trying one of these. I didn't quite see which one it was, but the two larger ones I think are these two, which is this or this. Okay, for these two. And then the smaller one was, I think the smaller one was, let's see. Okay, one of the smaller ones was this, the A110. Okay, the fat one. Okay, and then there's this one that's a little bit thinner around, and that's the A012. Okay, I don't know that these numbers are universal or anything, but you can look at the measurements, and then hopefully this works. All right, I was able to get the A110 and A111 on here, so the fatter of the ones you saw earlier. I forget which one is which now, but the fatter of the two. This one went on really easy, the bottom one. Just roll it on like a condom. It doesn't get tight until this last little lip here. And then this one, It did get tight around here, and I used this hook to gently get in behind the O-ring and pull it out a little bit and pull it down, and then worked around to get it on. I couldn't get it to quite roll on as easily, but it's in there now. Looks nice and plump. The other fresh O-rings, so let's see if it seals up inside of this banjo here. I might try to find a crush washer, but honestly, it's supposed to be sealing only with this. So we'll have to see how that goes. Well, it looks like it's working. No leaks so far. I was able to get the nut about halfway on, and this banjo was down. There was still a little bit of a gap there because the bottom one is a fat O-ring, right? And then I used the nut to kind of help push the banjo on. Yeah, it went right on, tightened right up, and I just wiggled turned the steering back and forth a whole bunch of times, checked the fluids, but I don't see any leaks so far. So far so good. Just another thing about aging rubbers on this car.